These are the 5 reasons why you need to be cautious when an avoidant ex says they miss you. The first is that they are trying to seek comfort in you. An avoidant often feels lonely, especially after time has passed. So they try to seek some type of emotional connection to you to kind of fulfill that loneliness that they're feeling, but they don't want the relationship in itself. And this can be very confusing because it presents itself to you as it looks like maybe they're reaching out to try to work things out, or maybe they've worked on themselves. And this could be a good opportunity for you guys to get back together and have a healthy relationship. But do not get it twisted. You really need to ask yourself here, do they miss you or the comfort that you provided them? Because chances are they are just missing that comfort. And when they're feeling that loneliness and they can't satiate it by distracting themselves with going out with other people, or maybe they're talking to somebody else and trying to have a relationship, but that person isn't fulfilling that need that they're having. So when they're alone by themselves, they're trying to solve this feeling that they're having because they want to avoid that loneliness that they're feeling, and they know that the best thing that they could do to do that is to reach out to you because you are a form of safety to them, which is not fair to you because you don't want to be just their comfort blanket. You want the relationship and everything else that goes with it, but they are not simply wanting that. They again just want you to fulfill that need that they're having so that they can feel better, and they're not caring about how this is affecting you. Number 2 is that they are testing to see if you're still there. Avoidance will do everything that they can to try to keep the emotional doors with you open, even if they're not going to walk through them. And chances are they are not. They want you to be emotionally available because this to them is a form of security and a form of control that they feel that they have. Because they know if they have you emotionally available, chances are you are not going to try to move on. You are most likely going to be waiting around, seeing if this person is going to try to come back, or you're trying to do everything that you can to make it work with them. So they think that this is what's going to keep you on the hook, and they can go out and do everything that they want, and the moment that they start to feel a negative emotion or maybe miss you a little bit, then they can come to you and kind of get that fix that they have and then walk away from you the moment that they're through with you and they don't want to get any more closer. And this is essentially so damaging to you because they again will present it as if it's a legitimate opportunity. It'll look like it is something that they're trying to work through, and they'll lead you on, and then they'll just walk away like they always do, and it makes you feel so confused because you just don't know what they're thinking. But this again is a part of their game as being an avoidant. They want to keep you available so that they can have you when they want, and not taking into any consideration how this is affecting you emotionally and physically. They just simply want to again make themselves feel good, and that's really it. The third reason is that they feel guilty for the way that they treated you. They know deep down that they treated you horribly, right? Chances are you did everything that you possibly could to make this work with them, and they manipulated you to make you feel like your love that you were just trying to express to them was a problem, and they just were ugly in certain instances. And there obviously are certain degrees to this with every relationship. Some are more extremes than others, but still they know that they treated you wrong, right? Because that's a part of being an avoidant. Like, they have to essentially know what they're doing to some degree because they need to manipulate you to try to turn the tables on you and make it look like you were the problem instead of them. Because when they do that, they don't have to accept any accountability, and the system runs itself. They can just rely on this to keep this avoidance cycle going. So they deep down know how bad they treated you, and it'll come up when they start to realize, when they try to go into other relationships and people are not willing to put up with that, they realize how much you were working with them, how much you tried to make things work. They deep down have a love for you. They can see how much you've put into trying to make things work, but they were consistently allowing this avoidant attachment style to push you away every single time. And they're aware of that. So when they have that space away from you, they can feel guilty over time about this and essentially reach out to you to try to make themselves feel better for the way that they treated you. Number 4 or is that this is a part of their avoidance cycle. You have probably gone through this plenty of times, but simply put, this is their way of starting that cycle over, right? They have broken up with you, or you've broken up with them because you were sick and tired of this, and they have essentially gone out, try to make themselves feel like they don't need you, and distracting themselves and all this other stuff. And this is the moment where they start to get to a place where they want you back in their life again as an emotional comfort, because there is safety in you to them. So what they try to do here is they try to get you all buttered up so that they can see if they can get back into the relationship and start this whole process over. And this is where you really need to be aware of this, because again, like you've heard it throughout this entire video, they are really good at convincing you that they have changed. They will do a lot to really get into your mind and make you feel that this could be different from all the other times, but you cannot allow that to trick you. You need to understand that this is most likely, again, going to be another cycle that they are going to go through, because an avoidant needs a lot of time to work through this. This avoidant attachment style didn't just happen yesterday. This has happened from their upbringing, and it took a very long time for them to get here. So in order for that to be worked through, they're going to have to seek professional help usually, and it's going to take some time for them to do some digging, because there's going to be a lot of stuff that they're going to try to avoid and not want to work through, but they have to in order to heal from this. So you have to understand this. There's nothing that you are going to do to change this. This has to be all on them, which leads perfectly into number 5, and that is they haven't changed. I mentioned this in the last step, but I really need you to understand this, because they again have to do so much to process this. They need to work with somebody, honestly, to get themselves to a place where they've actually healed and don't allow these things to come up. Because like I mentioned, this is coming from an early stage in their development. They were getting rejected by some form of a caregiver, and this essentially started to build over time. So they're going to need to work with someone or themselves, if they can do that, to kind of really dig down deep and figure out where this is coming from. And they're not going to be able to do that in the time that they've reached out to you and said that they miss you. And that's the thing. And a lot of times too is that we have to understand that they might not want to actually change. They have built such an elaborate system in their mind that convinced them that being this way is okay. There's nothing wrong with this. They're good, and they just are going to continue to be that way because that's who they are. Whatever reason that they give themselves for why they're doing it and why they approve of it, that doesn't matter. What does matter though is that they're going to need something significant to make them realize that this is not the way to be. They have to be more uncomfortable with being an avoidant than the opposite, which is them healed and moving on from it. And chances are they're in a very comfortable place here. They know how this system works. They have done such an elaborate job to kind of build up these barriers. So they're not willing to do the things that they need to do to let this go, because requires a lot of emotional maturity and growth. So I really hope you can understand the importance here of realizing that this is all a part of their game. They're going to try to use this to try to manipulate you, to make you feel like you have to continuously try to make it work with this person when you don't. You don't deserve to have to keep going through this with someone like this. You deserve someone who's going to want to actually work on things with you, share emotions, and just go through a healthy relationship together and grow from it. That is why it is so important for you to be cautious when your avoidant ex says they miss you. I hope that you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.